everybody? Hey guys, what's up? I'm George Mossey. It's the George Mossey Show. We're gonna be talking B90 before the 90 days. That's what aired tonight. We didn't get Tiger Lily and Adnan this week, but we're gonna talk about what we got tonight. Kara's gonna be joining us. I just texted Kara. She should. Oh, she's already here. Kara's already here. So hope you guys are interested in some constructive criticism of some things that were happening on the show. So I have like a lot of constructive ideas. Well, hello.
How are
you? I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay.
I'm pretty good. Hey, Eileen. So I wanted to talk about a bunch of stuff that happened tonight. What's up, Gina? So I don't know where I want to start though. Do you want to start with Joey? Do you want to start with Vanja? Like, where do you want to go? Because there's like a lot that I want to get into.
Let's start with Joey.
All right, so let's start with Joey. So Joey was pretty disappointed with the fact that he had to sleep in another room. So I have a bunch of questions for you for this one because he seems to feel that in order for them to get to know each other and know if they can move forward in a relationship, they need to have sex. But at the same time, this is the first time they've ever met in person. So I wanted to know, in your opinion, say for instance, hypothetically, you were talking to someone online for 5 to 8 months. You met in person. How comfortable do you feel sleeping even in the same room with a person that you just met? Because the internet is kind of divided.
Well, first of all, it depends on where we're at 5 months in. If they've had phone sex, how far have they gone? They've already talked about her coming here because she's a gold digging whore and that she wants to get married and she wants to have a baby. Like, come on.
Well, see, that's my next question. So the day before he left, she said that she wanted to wait a couple of months because obviously his trip is less than a couple of months. So she didn't want to have sex with him then. Now it has changed to when they're engaged. Now, what are your thoughts on her pushing the date back? Because I'm also getting the weird vibe that she's like embarrassed of him. Like, did you see when they were at the pretzel place and he was telling his jokes? And usually women, when they're attracted to a man, they find his jokes funny even when they're not.
I don't care how attracted you are to somebody. If they make a sexual innuendo about everything that's happening, that is not attractive.
Well, a lot of women will say it's childish, right? Like he says penis, right? Because with their accent, penis is penis. And everything has to be around that word. He just constantly says it over and over. And women like a level of maturity. You know, like I've met women who have a sense of humor, but you're right. They don't want to feel like they're in a relationship with a sixth grader, right?
Yeah,
like exactly. They want you to have a little bit of maturity when it comes to sex. Not everything that you're doing should be made to feel like, oh, let me make a sexual joke about this pretzel. Let's make a sexual joke about this food. Let's make a sexual. And I think a lot of women would agree. It's like, yeah, you can make sexual jokes, but it's not 50 times a day.
And there's a time and a place for it. You're in public. Like, that's not necessarily a time and a place for it.
Well, Gina has made a good question. She said, what is she saving herself for marriage for? I don't think she's a virgin, right? I tweeted the other day, I was like, I don't think that she's a virgin in any hole. Sorry guys, we're getting explicit tonight. I apologize. When we do the replay, I'll mark it explicit. I'm sorry. But I'm just being honest, right? Because there was a flash of the ass at the airport for everybody and their mom to see. So I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think that this is a virgin who is saving herself for marriage because she goes to church every Sunday. I don't think that that's the situation.
No, she is saving herself for a diamond ring.
Well, is it a diamond ring or a green card, or is it both?
Well, so you gotta have a diamond ring first. She's not putting out until she gets a ring on her finger now, right? Well, so
right.
I'm not proposing to somebody with even a gumball ring if I don't think we're sexually compatible. He's right. They need to know if they're sexually compatible. He is right. Do they need to do it on the first day? No.
Okay, so this is interesting because I wanted to ask how you felt about Joey, because he's kind of been bringing it up at every everything that they do, it's like the top of his mind. He's like, oh, we need to be intimate. We need to be intimate. So I wanted to get your vibe. So you said he's right to an extent. Before you put a ring on a woman's finger, you should know that you're compatible. So
Yeah,
that's real. So you agree with that 100%.
I do, especially if you're going to put the time and effort into bringing someone to America.
Yeah.
It's not like it even if you're moving somebody to another state, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But if you're going to put the time and effort into moving somebody to a whole different country, you need to know if you're compatible in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah, because you're right. Because when you bring someone on a visa, you then become responsible for them, not, well, financially, right? Financially. But then even if you break up, the one thing about these visas is they can be living with another person, living a completely separate life, but you're still responsible for them in many ways. So
But
it's kind of like
also,
having a child,
I
right? That's how
gotta,
children are.
I have to go back to your comment about, or the virgin comment about her. She also, we have to remember, she actually moved to Germany with another man and lived there for 3 months. So
Yeah.
this girl is not innocent by any means. She is chasing the wallet, and that's a wrap.
But do you think that she's being more cautious now? Like maybe she gave up too much too fast with the guy from Germany, and
Nah.
she didn't get everything that she wanted out of the situation. So now she's like, well, I have to, you know how you dangle a piece of meat in front of a wild dog, but you don't give it to him. You use
Yeah.
it to guide them. I feel like she's dangling things in front of him, and she's like, I'll get everything that I want as long as I don't give up too much too soon. And back in the day, I was raised very religious. It was very much a teaching when I was growing up that you didn't have sex until you were married. Now
Yeah.
that I'm older and not in a cult, I know that that's the most stupid and unrealistic
Right.
thing that exists, right?
Right. I mean, that back in the day, that's how I was raised too. But I, I just, you can't tell me that you cannot tell me that they've been together for 5 months. They only have a FaceTime relationship, and they haven't had some kind of sexual interaction. You cannot tell me that they haven't.
Well, yeah, the way that she was okay, I don't want to be like, I don't slut shame, but the way she was dressed in the airport and the way she was sticking her tongue in her mouth or in his mouth,
Yep.
it didn't give me the vibes of a nun,
Yes.
right? Like it gave me the vibes of a girl who has definitely had Skype sex with him.
Ab-
Okay? Like I'm just being real. So I
ab-
think that since they're not talking about it, everyone is looking at Joey as this horn dog who doesn't know how to take no for an answer. And I think this is going to be one of those situations where she never said anything about no sex until that literally the day before.
yes.
And I think that that's why he's pushing the issue, because I think that it's a surprise and a shock, and he probably wouldn't have booked the ticket. The ticket was already booked. But I think a lot of people are coming after him and they're like, oh, well, she said no. When a woman says no, it's just no. And I agree. That's true.
Yeah.
But I do think that she switched it up on him right before he got there. And I think
Absolutely.
that he was expecting what she promised on the video chat. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so I don't think Joey is like pressuring her. I mean,
No,
he
he's
is,
not.
but
He he keeps asking. He's not. I don't feel like he's forcing himself. He keeps inquiring, which is inevitably going to get so overwhelmingly obnoxious that if she's not already turned off, she will be. But she's got to keep her eye on the prize, the ring, and getting to America. Got to be a mom, all that stuff. But yeah, I I don't know. I think that she, just even on the two episodes we've seen her on, it went from 2 months to an engagement. So if you want to talk about pressuring, now you're literally pressuring him to propose to you. So
I I
sorry,
mean, I
in
know that
the beginning,
when women
I
are
don't
put them,
like her. I said in the beginning I didn't like her, but I didn't know enough about her. I'm 2 episodes in, and my feelings have not changed at all.
well, I I don't know. I thought she gave me Yara vibes at first, but I don't feel that at all anymore. I don't feel like she's anything like Yara. I actually feel like she doesn't have any feelings for Joey at all. I kind of feel like she's, like you said, she's done this before. Like there
Yeah.
was a guy in Germany. it happened really fast. She moved in with him after 3 months, and all of a sudden, it didn't work out. We didn't get any explanation as to why it didn't work out. Did he kick her out? Did she move out? Like, we don't know. But I think that it's giving me like a pattern. Like, she finds a sucker and she milks the sucker for everything that she can get out of the sucker, and then she throws the sucker away and moves on to the next sucker. So I don't know. I want to believe that she has at least an attraction to him, but we've watched a lot of people get led on this season, right? Because look at Vanja and Boja, right? Because she flew all the way to Croatia to see this guy, and he not only is he not interested in her, he's not attracted to her, he wants to be her friend. And he said tonight, he was like, oh, we should go and have lunch as friends. And I think what really irritated me the most this season with him is he's a liar, you know, because I see, I'm on the side of, if you get somewhere and you don't feel the vibe that you thought you felt, that's okay. That's why we go on dates, right? So you meet a person, you think that you like the person, you go out on dates. You go out on several dates, and then you decide as you're vibing or not if you want to continue to see this person. I agree with that. But the fact that he was telling her, I love you, and saying you should say I love you back to me and stuff, it gives me this weird vibe. So I'm wondering, was Vanja sending Bojo money?
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, because what was the reason for him to lead her on completely? Because the way that he's behaving, I am 194 million% sure he's probably not just in a relationship. I think he's engaged. I think that it's a very, very serious relationship, and he was using Vanja for money. That's the vibe that I've gotten. She was never supposed to buy a ticket and come, and I'm not exactly sure why he encouraged her to buy a ticket and come, knowing that that would blow up what he had going on. That's the most confusing part for me. Because
now he can end it, but instead of having to keep this shit going, he got a big fat check from TLC. This is what he said all along. That he told his girlfriend or his fiance or his wife or whatever it is, I just have to do this job. I'm going to pretend I like this girl till she gets here. She's sending me money in the meantime. Then we're going to film this TV show. Then I'm going to break up with her on national TV. So she's going to be totally humiliated. We're going to make a couple G's and we're good.
Not even break up with her, though. Like, he made it seem like they were never a thing. From the very beginning. The night she got there, when they went to the cooking class, he's like, oh, yeah, she's just a nice friend of mine that I know. Like, he basically made it seem like there was never a chance between them, period. And it's like, well, you can't convince me of that because she got on an airplane and flew all the way to Croatia. Like, there's no chance you can convince me that this woman is delusional enough to get on an airplane and fly to see a guy that's never told her he wanted to be with her. He's not Corona. She's not Corona. Corona would. Corona's an idiot. But I don't think that Vanja would do that. Vanja's not an idiot. And I think what hurt the most was watching her cry, because he made her feel so rejected and made her feel so low. And it just made me realize, I was like, he was using her for something. And now that he can't have whatever, I'm assuming she was sending him money because he's unemployed and he lives with his mom and his aunt. I'm almost 100,000% sure it was money, which she failed to mention in her video package. She never said she sent him money. But again, you know, we've always said, even when people say how much they've spent, you always double it. Remember, we've talked about that. So when someone's like, "Oh, I've sent this person $5,000," no, it's 10. Or if they sent them 1,000, it's always double, because they don't want to sound like an idiot. But they do tell you how much. Well, back in the day, remember, people used to tell us on the show how much they sent or if they were sending money. Now people are really hush hush about the situation, because, you know, there's no chance in hell that Joanne isn't sending Sean money. You know, this is what is going on. There's no way that you can convince me otherwise that this relationship is not based on her taking care of him. There's no other way. But they don't talk about it anymore, because I remember in the earlier seasons, we would have scenes where they would say, oh, yeah, I'm sending them money for clothes. I'm paying their rent. Remember, what's his name? Caesar, and then David, who was with Lana. They really focused a lot.
So gross. Oh,
yes.
I just,
and do you remember he went over there so many times, and Lana wouldn't even turn up
Yeah.
before she actually met him. And we got a lot of insight with that because he kept telling us, oh yeah, I sent this much, I'm paying this amount. And I remember he went to one of the apartments where he was paying rent and she wasn't even there.
Yeah,
and so
never lived there.
She never even lived there, right? So it was like he was paying rent on an apartment that never existed. He was just sending money. So I just wish people, and I know as time went on, people don't want to be known as an idiot. So that's why we're not getting the full story of how much money people are sending. Because I remember Caesar would tell us, he was like, oh, I'm sending this. Because remember, he would send like 70% of his salary, and then he would eat like,
he was sending like $5,000 a month or some shit.
Yeah, and then he said that he would have to eat like dollar TV dinners until, because he had nothing left. He was literally sending, and I'm thinking Vanja, I think she was sending a whole bunch of money over there. I know she doesn't want to admit it on TV because, you know, you don't want to be known as an idiot, right? You don't want to be known as a debtor or whatever. And I don't think she is. I think that she was catfished. And the funny part is, we know what he looks like. He didn't catfish her with a fake photo like Submit did. He didn't catfish her that way. He was catfishing her for money.
But he also catfished her by saying he's a professional basketball player and that he has a car and he has a job and he has a house and he has. Even his friends were like, this beautiful woman is so sweet. You won't even give her the time of day, blah, blah. If I was her, I'd have looked at one of those good-looking men that they were sitting with and been like, hey, you want to go out tonight?
That actually, people on X were saying that. They were like, she should have just asked out. I think the girl said red shirt, plaid shirt. She was like, she should just ask out one of his friends right in front of him. And it wouldn't even been spiteful because he doesn't want her. Clearly he was using her for something. I know he was using her. And even the friends were like, because they kept saying when they asked, like, well, tell her what's wrong and be honest. I think that the friends knew what he was doing. Absolutely. But he wouldn't admit it. Obviously, if it's a scam, you're filming a TV show. You don't really want to say in front of the camera crew that you're scamming them. Right? You haven't received your payment yet, so he won't say. But it's very, very clear that she was used up. Whatever he was getting from her, it's over, and he just wanted nothing to do with her. And I think it's one of those situations where he thought she wouldn't actually follow through and show up. And then when she did, she brought the show. So he was like, well, wait. I can get how much money if I pretend that this is real? And I think that he just went through with it because obviously after the show, she's going to stop sending money. So he needed the show to fill the gap. Well, so now he's going to.
When she was standing outside, she said he played me for a fool. So he definitely drugged this on. And I loved how she came in with receipts of the text where he said, I love you. And when he's like, oh, I never said that. Yeah, you did.
See, the funny part about calling a woman a liar, I think I've said this before, watch what you say when you try to say what a woman said or not, because she has receipts, she's got screenshots. Women remember everything. If it was 10 years ago and she said it, or you're saying she said it and she didn't, or vice versa, she knows and she can prove it. And I knew he was making a huge mistake when he was like, I never said that. And I was like, see, now you're treading on dangerous ground. Because women can react in different ways when you call them a liar, right? You can get a drink in your face, right? You can get something heavier object in your face. You can get a punch in the face. It depends on how much self-control she has, because women can be called lots of names. But one name that I've noticed that causes the worst reaction in a woman is calling her a liar. When she has nothing to lie about and she knows that she didn't lie, that really enrages her. And I get it. I hate being called a liar.
Absolutely. And she, she's such a sweetheart. She didn't deserve any of that. Like, she's just a doll. And I hope she finds the best guy that treats her the best. She deserves the best. She's a hardworking, intelligent woman, and she deserves the best.
She does. Scott, you're right. Scott says women in the internet remember everything, right? There's two things that are forever. A woman's
Scott, I will remember. Oh, Scott, I will remember every fucking word you've ever said.
The internet is forever. It's like it's the 10 Commandments, right? Women and the internet, they have the best memory. If I ever needed to hire somebody to keep records, I would hire a woman. Because women keep the best records and they use it in a way to their advantage. And I think that's why when you come across a woman and she's a lawyer she's a good lawyer, right? Because women will use information in the best possible way. Information that would be useless to anyone else, they will find very good value in that info, and they will use it at the right time. Oh, so Pineapple says, I thought, what if they both set this up? She's gaining major notoriety for her belly dancing and her vegan baking business. Okay, so hypothetically, if this is a Corona and Inky situation, maybe they both set it up, and then you're right, she would look like a victim, like she was used and humiliated, and he would look like an a-hole, but he'd get a big check. It's
But
possible.
I think if that was the case, tonight would have been the last we've seen of them.
Well, it could be. Were they in the previews for next week? I didn't see them in the. Oh, they were. Oh.
She's in the previews for next week.
Well, oh yeah, because she hasn't actually left yet. They have to film her leaving and coming back to the U.S. So she would have to be on at least one more episode. But it's hard to really underestimate things anymore, because once we found out that Corona and Inky went on a whole season and made up a whole fake relationship,
yeah,
I can't put anything past anyone anymore. And it's like, yes, the show is supposed to showcase relationships and the visa process and problems, but we learned from the Jabri and Miona situation early on, people are looking to make the most out of their followers and their brand and their name. And, I'm not saying that Jabri and Miona weren't married and didn't love each other. I think they did.
Yeah.
But I think that they did the show to increase their popularity, because let's not forget, they were married for over a year and a half and then did another wedding on the show and acted as though they weren't already married. Like, let's not forget. So when you do things like that, it makes you wonder, what are you promoting? Because, Tiger Lily has her own business. She has a store where she sells clothes and kids' clothes.
Businesses or some shit.
Well, right, and Adnan has all these businesses. So it's like, when we're seeing these people on the show and the relationship stories are so strange, it makes you wonder. You're like, is this all fake and you just need to be on TV because this is going to increase your revenue and it's going to increase your followers and you're going to make more money? It's sad that we have to think that way, but that's kind of where the show has gone. It went from normal people who didn't even have an Instagram account for the first episode to people like Tiger Lily, who had 700,000, I don't think they're real, but she had 700,000 followers before the show premiered. And Jabri and Miona had almost 100,000 followers before the show premiered. So it just makes you wonder, are you doing this show because you really want to tell your story, or are you doing this show because you can make more money?
Yeah. I don't know. I think she's pretty legit myself.
I mean, the way that she looked hurt and upset looked real to me. Because like when Corona on her season, when Inky did something she didn't like, her reaction was very rehearsed.
Yes.
I didn't see like actual agony and pain and upset and disgust and disappointment with her. It was more like theatrical performance.
Yes.
Right? Like the whole time I saw Corona, like, to be real, it felt very performative. Like she had went over in her head what to say. She made sure she had weird sayings like soft partnering, and she made it all seem like something that she had thought about for a while.
Yep.
Right? And when you're on a show and things are...
In one lifetime, can one person say midwifery?
Right? I don't even think people who do that as a profession can say it have said it that many times. It was just, oh, I'm going to be a midwife. And it's like, okay, we get it. You want to be a midwife. Totally get it. Talk about something else. I've never heard anybody talk about a dream as much as they did. You would think that she was getting commission from the school for talking about the school. Like, she just said it. So it's like, are you getting paid to mention the name of the school? Because you've said it like a lot. Like, is this a paid advertisement now? Because they should be cutting a check.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to make sure that I bring up that you said in the very beginning that Matilda was a scam artist. You said it. You said you didn't trust her. You said it. I asked you. I was like, what do you think of Matilda? And you were like, I don't like her. I think she's full of it. I think she's going to take it for all these words. Come to find out tonight, she is. So there's an order in which you're supposed to do these things, the knocking ceremony, the wedding. And apparently Niles was supposed to have a conversation with his father or his father stand-in before they went to her family. And this is an order that you're supposed to do things. And apparently Matilda not giving him the correct order opened up a gap in information where she was able to manipulate him into paying for a 90-person ceremony instead of it just being her family. And the biggest issue was she recommended a person from her village that everyone knows to help be a part of the ceremony, and then he called her out on what she was doing and was like, well, this isn't how we do things. And the fact that she's guiding you in the wrong way shows me that she's up to no good. And you said that all along. You literally said, you were like, I think that she wants to live in America and send money back and better herself. And I was like, well, do you really think that she would go through the trouble of learning how to be with a person with autism? And you were like, yeah. You were like, actually, it's actually probably easier than being with someone without it. Because well, right, exactly. You were like, this is actually a shortcut to scamming. As if because someone without autism would probably have noticed it, picked up on it, and called her out earlier.
Yep.
But because honestly, if Mr. Ark wouldn't have actually brought it to his attention in front of her, which I thought was really cool.
I thought
he called her out.
awesome. That was
freaking loved it. I was like, wow, he's calling her out in front of her, and he was like, you know how we do things in our culture, and the way that you did this, you know, it just shows that you didn't have his best interest at heart. You knew that meeting with his family is something that you do after he talks to someone to get a better understanding of the culture. And I think there's a huge gap in culture here, and no one is really educating him. He doesn't know what he's doing, and his family is smart enough to say, this is not a good idea. We're not going to be. But I disagree with his family just leaving him out to dry. Like, if you really love him and care about him, you should be there, even if you don't support it, just to make sure he's not getting taken advantage of, right? Like, you should be there.
I agree to a certain extent. I said it from the beginning that we have to protect Niles at all costs, blah, blah, blah. However, he is a full-grown adult man. So he's been autistic his entire life. He's learned how to be high-functioning, how he can deal with it, how he can deal with large crowds. He dealt with TV producers, cameras following him. He dealt with the airports and the airplanes in a different country, and he's handled it all very well. So that tells me that he doesn't need mom and dad to hold his hand to go other places. And it also tells me that this probably wasn't his first time traveling alone. But if mom and dad don't agree with this, I guess that's kind of like, go ahead and go, but if you screw up, it's on you, man. I don't
see. I agree, but I think since he is autistic, and I mean, I know you said this, he's a grown man, right? He's not a child, but I feel like when you have a child that has a disability or some sort of disadvantage, you know, you can't, like, you know how a bird will throw the baby out of the nest when it's ready to go. I don't feel like that would be fair for him.
And I wouldn't say to just turn him loose at 18. He's a grown man, and he's got a job, and he's high functioning. And they also, as parents, knew for a fact that he wouldn't be alone. He's going with TV producers. He's going with an entire camera crew. He's got people behind him. So nothing bad's gonna happen to him.
I think that they should at least have done like a Zoom call and to meet the people, and even just to say how they had reservations. Just make your voice known. Be like, look, we love our child. We want him to be happy, but we don't agree with this. That's why we're not there. But, you know, at least meet them on
how
video.
Do you think that, how do you think that would have gone with, let's say, David and Annie, for example? David and Annie's family, David's family was completely against it. Had they done a Zoom call and she's like, you're a stupid gold-digging whore, and I totally am not on board with this, it wouldn't have gone well. So they probably know it's not going to go well. So
basically, it's the situation where I'm like, don't invite me to your wedding if you know I don't agree.
Yes.
So it's the same thing. Don't be involved in any way if you're only going to bring negativity.
Absolutely.
So they looked at it as, we would only be bringing negative energy, so we're not going to be there at all. I respect that even more, actually. Because if somebody I hate invites me to their wedding, you know I'm just going to go there and talk shit. So there's no reason why I should be there, because it's going to be negative energy, and no one needs that negativity on a time supposed to be their happiest time in their life. Why would I go there and destroy that for them? So I'm just I'm worried about what happens though, because in the preview for next week, Niles was like, I'm having a change of heart, and it kind of looks like he doesn't even want to go through with the knocking ceremony. It kind of looks like he's just going to go back home, and he changed his mind. But I'm also worried about, is he able to follow through with that?
No.
You know, because he put a lot into this. He took a big leap, and I think him doing the show and flying and doing all this, he's so far in, it would be hard for him to just walk away. So even if he leaves without doing the knocking ceremony, I think he would probably go back and probably marry her. Do you feel like that?
I think they're done.
So you think he's just going to be, I'm done with you, I changed my mind, I don't want to do it?
I don't necessarily know if he's going to say it on this show. There may be a part 2. Who knows? But I don't think that they'll ever get married.
Really? Huh. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like
This guy's not stupid, first of all. He is not stupid. He's starting to see through all of her bullshit. And he even said it himself. My parents said that they felt like she was taking advantage of me. Now I'm kind of feeling like that. More and more shit's just going to unfold. And then he asked her in the car to stop talking, and she just kept going, like every single woman on the planet. When you tell me to calm down, I am going to do everything but that. So she just kept talking, kept feeding it. He's different, though. If somebody with autism told me, you need to stop talking, you need to calm down, I'm going to shut my mouth, because clearly that's too much.
Right. Yeah, I mean, when he told her to stop talking, I was like, that's probably going to escalate the situation. When a woman is upset, calm down, shut up, stop talking, those are triggers. You know, because
when that woman knows that you have a disability and she's educated herself on that and she's dealing with that, then she knows she needs to have your back more than anybody else.
Yeah. If she loves you, she will. So maybe that's the test. Maybe we will see. The way that she reacts to him in that situation could be a test. Is she in it because she's like, oh, I don't want you for your money. How much money have I ever asked you for? And I remember him saying in the beginning, he's never sent her money. Do you remember that? He was telling his coworkers he's never sent money. Is he lying? Do you believe that? So he's a liar.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like it's impossible to be in a long...
I've never asked you for money. Just because she's never asked for money doesn't mean he's never sent it.
Oh, I understand. So she doesn't text and say, I need $300, but he might say, how are things going? And she's like, oh, well, we don't have a lot of food this week. And then
the roof caved in our house and everything happened. So that is
a tactic that a lot of people have used. They don't ask for it, but they go down the long laundry list of things that are going wrong. Yes. And then you happen to offer, so they didn't ask. Yeah, that is a tactic that a lot of people use. They don't ask people for money, but you call them, and then before you can get in 10 words, they've told you 10 problems that they're experiencing.
Also, notice, like, her luggage is nice, her clothes are nice, her hair's always nice, her hair wraps are nice. Like, she's got nice things. When they showed her with her family and in the family home and all the things, her things are way nicer than the family's. So she's getting money from somewhere. I don't think it's selling bananas.
Well, she said that was how she made money for the family. So I wouldn't believe that she was buying nice clothes and nice stuff with the money for the family. So, and she also says she sleeps on the floor. Yeah. So you're right. The stuff that she had and has doesn't match up with the lifestyle that she has in her hometown in Ghana. I think that she is living the life of somebody who's wiring money, right? Like it definitely aligns with that. So we'll see. We'll see about it. So wait, hold on. I want to talk about, we talked about Vanja, right? Oh, Brian was on tonight. And
God, this one makes me so mad.
We met his other friend, Brian, who is from Brazil. And we also found out that Ingrid didn't know that he was married 4 times. So I'm assuming she knew that he was married at least once because she knew his daughter.
She said she knew of 2 marriages.
Oh, so 2 times. So because she knew about the daughter, and that was the first marriage. Oh, and he told her about the how he became a paraplegic. That was wife number 2. So you're right. She had to have known about 2. But remember, she didn't hear about wife number 2 in detail until he was there, because she didn't know she had something to do with him becoming a paraplegic. She didn't know that. So he didn't tell her that. And then he also put that he was 45 in his profile, which we knew. But his response tonight really bothered me, because he was like, well, obviously, if she was good at math, she would have known I can't be 45. I have a 31-year-old. And I was like, so she's calling you out for lying to her. And then your response is, well, if you weren't so stupid, you would have figured out it was a lie. That really bothered me, because I was like, why would you insult her for finding your lie to be insensitive and cruel and rude and unfair? And it just...
His other comments about 4 wives, 3 fiancés, and it's her responsibility to ask the questions, not his responsibility to tell. We've been dating for so long, and it's your responsibility to ask me those questions.
So let me ask this.
It's his responsibility to not be a deceitful piece of shit.
So if you were open to go into a new relationship, I think that there's some very basic things that you would need to ask a person. And I feel like, do they have kids? Do they want kids? What religion they are, just in case, they're not one of the ones that are going to make you change your whole life. And how old they are, if you don't know. And how many times have you been married, if you've ever been married? I feel like those are basic questions, right? So the idea...
If it's over 2 times, I need to know the name and the phone number of all of your exes, because I am going to call each and every one of them and ask why you're a piece of shit.
So you're going to do reference checks.
Absolutely. You're divorced 4 times and you have 3 broken engagements. There's one common denominator.
You. I mean, yeah, it's him. He's the common denominator. And I think that the way that he reacts to people catching him in a lie is very aggressive and confrontational. And there's another word too. Maybe it's egotistical or narcissistic. It's one of those words. But he basically, whenever someone calls him a liar, they're being so judgmental of me. And I was like...
Okay, so the judgmental thing. I wrote this down. He said, okay, so in his dating profile, he wrote that he's 45 because he didn't want any 50-year-old women messaging him.
Right, no grandmas. Basically grandmas, yeah.
He said, she keeps judging me. Her face. She keeps judging me. She keeps judging me on my past, not on my current actions. Okay, Brian, I am judging you on your past, and I am also judging you on your current actions. And then and now, you're a total asshole.
Yeah, none of his actions, present or past, have been good.
No.
Because I feel like he's very deceitful. Like, okay, so say you're applying for a job, and you don't tell the job certain things. You only tell them what you want them to know, which would be stupid, right? Because the job is going to run a background check, and the job will know what you're lying about. But in his situation, these women aren't a business. So he's made a fake resume, and that makes him look like a saint, and he just doesn't tell them. And then when they find out later down the line, he's like, well, you never asked me. And it's like, I don't need to ask you how many times you've been married if we're starting a new relationship. Or how is she supposed to know to ask your age when you put a fake one on your profile? Yep. And he's like, well, you didn't ask me what my real age was. How was she supposed to know that wasn't your real age?
Yep.
There's no accountability with him. Everything is other people judging him. He doesn't take any responsibility for being deceitful. And I think that's really scary. I mean, that explains so many failed engagements, so many failed marriages. Women don't like certain things. Being lied to is almost number 1. It's like right underneath cheating, right? Like there's certain things women just don't want in their life, and being a liar is really high on the list. So that explains why so many women, one particular, tried to end him, don't want anything to do with him. He's a liar. And the fact that he tries to make the women out to be insensitive or mean or judgmental because of it, it kind of infuriates me because
Yeah.
it's like you can't do something horrible to the person and then when they confront you for what you did, you blame them. You
Yep.
can't like how is it her fault that she's upset that you lied to her multiple times? Like she
She
has
needs to,
every right to be upset.
she needs to run. She should just let him finish that glass of wine, undo the brakes on his wheelchair, push him down the hill, and then call him in for a DUI.
I just caught that. I'm sorry, I just caught that. Well, somebody tweeted online, they were like, Brazil should just ban him at this point from
Absolutely.
entering the country. You know, because I feel like he's a nuisance to women at this point. Just ban him. Don't let him come back because it's actually unfair and saying that he continually goes over there and inserts himself in these people's lives. And apparently the one woman won't divorce him. She's like avoiding him. Did you hear that? And I'm
I
like,
would have,
well,
but I'd divorce his ass so fast.
but I
I
was
would
gonna
never
say,
marry.
what would being married to him do for her? Because I was like, you shouldn't want to be still married to somebody
I'm
like that.
betting that he didn't. This is 100% my thoughts. As soon
Mhm.
as I heard that, he didn't even start the divorce proceedings until he was on his way to meet Ingrid.
Oh, so you
So,
think?
yep,
Oh,
he was probably like, "Hey, we need to push this along. I've got this TV show coming up. I'm going to propose to this lady. Blah blah blah." And she's like, "You know what? Fuck you."
wow. Wow. I mean that wouldn't surprise me at all, actually.
That's what I'm
He's such
guessing.
a scumbag. And it's so funny because I remember in the beginning I was rooting for him and I thought he was a nice guy. And then I got to know him and then each week it gets worse and
Yep.
worse. And it's almost like he's a nightmare.
Yep.
Like, can you imagine if I was a woman? He's literally a nightmare. Everything about him, it gets, you know how things, when things are going wrong and you're like, oh, it's gonna get better. Don't worry, things get better. Nothing with him gets better. Everything gets worse as time
Literally.
goes on. And you can tell that he's been doing this for a while. The way that he forced his way into Ingrid's parents' mother's face, forced his way into Ingrid's son's life. No matter what she was ready for, he forced his way in and did whatever he wanted. And I feel like that's his MO. He doesn't give them enough time to figure out who he is. He wants to get them hooked in and married before they
Yep.
can figure out he's a piece of crap. And I think that's why he works so fast because, when you're an ass, eventually you'll show your
Yep.
ass. So he has to try to rope the women in very quickly before they can pick up the pieces and put the puzzle together and realize that he's a
Exactly.
lying piece of crap. So that's why he was like, on this trip, I need to meet her son. I need to meet her parents. I need to get married. There's a
Yep.
small amount of time that he needs to trick her into
Yep.
marrying him before she realizes that she doesn't want to do it.
That's exactly right. 100%.
I couldn't think of any other reason why he was like rushing. But when she said, I'm not ready for you to meet my son, and then he shows up at her house and was like, well, I'm here. I should meet your son. And I was like, see, no, she
Yep.
makes the decisions for her child. So you
Absolutely.
showing up there is like a humongous violation to me. Like if a woman says, I don't want you here yet, because, there are women who have been in relationships for years and it's not to the point where she's ready for her kids to know who that guy is and you respect that woman's decision as a mother even if the guy isn't a piece of crap. It's her
Yep.
decision because some women just don't want their kids to see different men
Yep.
in and out of their lives, right? It's just not something that they want. And even if they like you, if you haven't put a ring on it yet, she looks at it as you could be gone next week. And it's her decision
Absolutely.
who should be around her kids. So when he showed up there and forced himself into her house to meet her son, I was done. I was
Yep.
basically done. I was like, this man has no boundaries. He has no morals. A woman and a mother is the only person in the world who has the decision process and mindness to decide if you're right to be in front of her kid, right?
Yep.
And the fact that he
Especially
took
after you just threw a whole ass baby fit because you tried to have sex and she said no.
right, right, literally the
Yep.
day after. It's
Guys, a
just
piece of
it just made me so mad. So I've been done with him early on because
yep.
I was just like, nah, you got to respect her decisions. And when she said, no, my parents aren't ready to meet you, and then he forced her to call the mom over. I was like, see, he doesn't respect her decisions or feelings, and I feel like men who don't respect women's feelings and decisions are, I don't want to say abusive, but I feel like if you don't feel like her mind is something good enough to make decisions for herself, you don't respect her mind, then I don't think you're a good person, right? Because
Absolutely.
if you think manipulation is the way to control a woman and get her in your life and do what you want, then there's a certain word for you,
Yep.
right? Like I think if a woman has said, and this is coming up with Joey too, because we're talking about that, because everybody online was like, she said no, Joey needs to just let no mean no. And I do agree. I think when women speak, men do try to change their minds, you know, because he's like, oh, I'll change your mind. I was like, see, I don't like that. If a woman says, I don't want to sleep with you, it's not a negotiation, right? Like,
Yeah.
no just means no. You can't like negotiate, you know, go back and forth, make a offer. Like, just respect what people say. And I feel like Brian, he doesn't respect what women say, and that's scary to me. It's scary when women
Yeah.
are alone with him, because it's like if she says no and he doesn't want no to be the answer, what's
Yeah.
going to happen, you know?
Absolutely. Well, one thing is they can run.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope once he leaves
I
her
would
country,
run uphill.
wait, or she could go to the top of the hill with him and then push him down,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
That she could do that as well. I mean,
Just
I
let it
think
go.
that she's smarter than we're giving her credit for. I think that she sees everything and
Yeah.
she's just slower to react.
Yep.
I don't think anything's going to happen between them. And obviously we know what happened already. We've seen the videos, but I don't think that Ingrid is slow or stupid or naive, I think is the better word. She's not as naive as we're putting on. I think that she can see the red flags, and instead of just like reacting immediately, she's an observer. She's taking and collecting information to use, you know, like women do at a later date.
Yeah.
Right? Then I think women are the best at they observe, they collect information, and then when the time is right, they submit it, and then they have a whole report on why they don't want to be with you. And I think that's what she's doing.
Absolutely. I agree.
So Lauren has two plans that I wanted to talk about with you. So the first plan is to go to Thailand, where same-sex marriage is legal, and marry Faith, and then come back and apply for citizenship.
Okay.
In
On that note, I was looking it up. If same-sex marriage happens in another country and then you go to the Philippines and try to get citizenship, it is still not recognized.
Oh, so if they were to go to Thailand and bring back their marriage certificate
Doesn't
to the
matter.
Philippines, it doesn't make a
Philippines
difference.
will not recognize it.
Oh,
Under
so
no
that plan is irrelevant unless
Yep.
they want to live in Thailand.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's useful information. I didn't know that. I mean, that makes sense though, because if a whole country doesn't allow something, just because you get it in another country, which has no jurisdiction of that country, doesn't mean that that country has to recognize it. Just like in the U.S., you can go overseas and get married. The U.S. won't acknowledge that unless it happened here on U.S. soil. So that makes sense. But this is Lauren. Let's say that Lauren did all of 2 minutes of research. He probably Googled what European countries allow same-sex marriage, and Thailand was the first thing to come up, and that was probably where he got the information. So option 2, he would marry. Okay, so first of all, option 2 is fraud. I just want to put that out there. So he was discussing conspiracy to commit fraud on the show. So he was saying he would marry Faith's mother, and then get citizenship that way, which is fraud, which I don't know if they classify crimes as felonies over there. Whatever it is, it's pretty bad. When you commit fraud against any government, it's pretty bad. So basically, right. So basically, his plan is to marry her mom and get citizenship that way, which he's discussed it on TV. So let's say they were still together and they tried this. He'd probably just be in a Philippines jail.
Which would be awesome.
Right? And you can't give people STDs if you're in jail. Well, you know what? I take that completely back. Yes, you can. Because Lauren, you know what? I didn't think that statement through. You definitely can give STDs to people in jail. So people in jail would not be safe at that point from Lauren. Did you see? He posted the other day, he said that they need to destigmatize STDs. Did you see the post? He said that they need to get rid of the shame, and making people feel.
I cannot bring myself to follow him back. I've thought about it. I thought about it just for shits and giggles, and then I'm like, I just can't do it. I just cannot do it.
Well, I
What
do
if
follow.
what if my IG gets some kind of cooties?
Well, you'd have to get on a pill for a week, right? Isn't that
I
what he said?
could.
Well, no,
I'd
your
have to, yeah,
IG would have to get on a pill for a week.
that would be horrible.
Well, he said that he doesn't like how stigmatized people make people feel about getting STDs. He said that we need to stop making people feel bad and, be more encouraging. So how do you feel about that? Should we start teaching kids in school that STDs are not scary and we shouldn't worry about them? Because, when I was in school, I was taught and showed pictures that scared the living hell out of me.
Yep.
So in Lauren's opinion, he thinks that we should just say, oh, it's no big deal, which is interesting because we talked about this before. There's a lot of STDs that are uncurable. So
Yep.
I think that's the reason why when we were younger in school, they stressed it so much because there are things you could do at 16 that will go with you until you leave this world, right?
Yep.
And I think, so I don't know if we should be, I'm not saying that we should slut shame people for STDs, but I don't think that we shouldn't encourage it either.
I don't
Right?
think that we should like decriminalize it either. Like
Well,
that's
no.
disgusting.
He said that it is ridiculous how serious people take it and we need to stop. That was literally what he said.
It's disgusting. But also, one thing he said tonight that this made me almost want to follow him back.
Okay.
When he's talking about all the jobs he's had, he's done security and taught martial arts. Okay, I will fight you anytime, anywhere, Lauren. Anytime, anywhere.
Wait, he's done martial arts?
That's
I didn't know that.
what he said on the episode tonight when he's talking about all the jobs he's done. I've done security, I've done martial arts, I've done farming, I've done blah, blah, blah. I lost it at the security and martial arts. I will fight him anytime.
I mean, maybe we should set it up. Wait, do you know any martial arts at all?
No.
But okay, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe we should set it up. Maybe we should get you guys in a ring.
I also have a broken knee, and I will still fight him.
But you would have to wear like a full body protective gear because what if you get
absolutely. I'm going in a full body con.
You'd have to, when they blow up those really big like clear balls, yes. It's like a balloon. You'd have to be in one of those.
I'm going in a full body condom, and that's a wrap, literally.
Well, I think you would win. Lauren doesn't. He doesn't appear to me as a fighter. People can surprise you, but I feel like Lauren, you would hit him a couple of times and he'd be down for the count. I just feel
I'm not even a little scared.
Not
even a little.
Not even a little.
Not even. I mean, a little.
I'd just be scared.
I don't need any backup, but I also did security for a very long time.
Wait,
I was also a bouncer.
You did? I didn't know that.
I have my degree in criminology. I have actually done paintball tournaments with the state police. I have done actual simulated school shootings with the state police. I have done all kinds of training with the state police, with the CERT team, with the SWAT team. I've done all kinds of training. I will gladly fight Lauren.
Well, we'll put it out there. Let's see if Lauren wants to get involved. And it's Lauren, so we can like offer $20 and he'll probably be down, right? I feel like he would totally do it. And if we offer 25 and maybe like some chicken intestine,
I'll go to Vegas. My sister lives there. I'd love to see her, like the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I'm planning to go to Vegas soon anyway, so let's make it happen. I'm down. I don't know how to set it up. I'd have to ask around, but I'm pretty sure this isn't anything that we can't do. Oh, so Vea and Sunny are basically done because Vea said that she doesn't want to send Sunny home, or I'm sorry, Rory home, and Sunny feels like she doesn't care about his feelings, I think is what it said. So one thing that I want to say is you can't start a new relationship by bringing your old relationship with you. But it's like, I know that Vea has a lot going on, right? I know that she's not a normal person. Right. She's been through things that change you. So I don't like to be hard on her because everyone hasn't been through the things that she's been through. But
Correct.
I do feel like Sunny isn't asking for anything unreasonable. Like if you're trying to build a bond with someone that you just met, it would be very helpful if the last person that they really loved isn't there, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like he's asking for anything unreasonable, but also I think this show has a lot to do with it because I feel like if they weren't filming it, Rory probably wouldn't be so present, you know. But Sonny did say something tonight. He was like, the reason why I wanted to meet Rory is because I wanted to see why he's so present, why he's there, why he's so important. So I think the meeting probably would have actually taken place either way.
Yeah.
But I think that for someone who doesn't like another man, you know, because he's a Muslim, so you feel a certain way when other men are near the person that you love or your wife. So that's a one thing. And then I also feel like Sonny has trust issues on top of his religion. So I just feel like having a ex who you were engaged to and almost had a baby with, it's never gonna be an easy task to make them coexist. It's just never gonna be a real thing.
But also, I need her to stop just leaving Rory. So she tells Rory, I'll text you, whatever, 777 at the airport
And
when it's safe for you to come out. And then never does. So poor Rory probably sat at the airport for 3 weeks. And then tonight they're at the bar. Sonny says, pick me or him right now. She chased him outside. Rory's just standing there like, I don't know what's going on. I'll just play pool by myself. She chased him outside. Tell Sonny, I pick you, and they leave. And poor Rory's just in there. Do I go after her, see if she's okay? Do I try to follow her? Do I just stay in the bar? You can't bring somebody for protection and not keep them updated as to what's going on.
yeah, I agree. I mean,
I'd be pissed.
I
I would be
feel like
pissed.
she uses him for it's probably a feeling of security. And but
Right.
I do agree. She abandons him. She's like, well, I don't need you right now, so she just abandons him. And it's like you need him when you need him, but then when you don't, he's not there. Like leaving him in the airport and him wondering, is she okay? She never texted me.
So if you and I went somewhere and I was like, George, you have to go with me because I don't trust anybody here. This is going to be very scary for me, and you're making sure I'm okay. But then every time you turn around, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Do you just not worry about me and hope for the best, or do you come looking for me, or do you not leave me alone? Like you gotta update him.
Well, yeah, I don't want to spend the whole time I'm there completely worried and wondering if you're okay.
Right.
Because let's not forget only reason why he's there is because she asked him and she told him, I don't know this person at all. I need you to be there to make sure I'm okay. And then he doesn't know. And
Exactly.
I do feel like, yeah, I feel like she takes advantage of Rory. You know, I feel like she acknowledges that he'll always be there and be there for her, and she takes advantage of that too. Like you still have to treat him like a human being because she's like, I don't love him and I don't want him, and I'm like, but he's here.
Yeah.
And he's here because he cares about you enough to leave the country. You know, so be appreciative of someone.
Yeah.
Just because you don't love him anymore doesn't mean he's not there and he's not there to help you and be supportive and caring of you. He could have easily told you, hell no, I'm not leaving the country with you so you can go meet another person. I would have said no. You know, so you have to be grateful of people that have your back to that extent, because I don't got your back to that extent. I just don't. I'm not going to help you move on because I can clearly tell he cares about her. Yeah. It probably hurts him to watch her try to move on in front of him. That's very hurtful, right?
Yep. But also then Sonny said Rory's angry and he's got anger issues. He never did he get angry. He just straightforward said, you're some dude from the internet. Like, of course.
I don't know. I didn't see. The only person I saw with anger issues was Sonny. Sonny has lashed out multiple times, which is why I understand why she doesn't really want Rory to just leave.
Yeah.
Sonny, I'm not saying that Sonny is a bad guy or would hit her, and I don't think he would, but he does get rage. He gets very rageful. And, you know, sometimes when people are rageful, they see red and they don't remember. Yeah. So I think that I don't know him well enough to know if he's just mad or upset or rageful. There's a difference, but I don't know him well enough. So I think she should have somebody there with her in case, you know, she doesn't know him well enough to know what he's capable of,
Yeah.
right? That's why I just wish he would have brought like a female friend.
Yeah.
I just wish she would have, like, honestly, because now I feel like they're never going to work out, and they might have if she would have actually just brought a female friend that she trusted just as much as Rory.
They
Hopefully.
weren't ever going to work out. There's no way they were going to work out. It's a Muslim culture, which is something that she had no clue about. There's just no way. No way. They are so mismatched. This was literally just a hookup trip for both of them. That's it.
You're probably right, because she said she's never converting, and he said he would never marry anyone who didn't. So you're 100% right. All right, guys, we're going to wrap for tonight. Tomorrow is the finale of The Other Way season. Oh my God, I don't remember what she's in. But tomorrow's the finale of The Other Way tell-all. So we're going to get the rest of the drama from the tell-all. The part one was kind of good, guys, not going to lie. Part one was kind of good. So we're going to get part two of that tell-all. And then next week, we're hopping into The Last Resort. They were in Arizona this year. Florida last time, Arizona this time. So we're going to hop into that. And then after that, I think I told you guys, the 90-day single house in Mexico is premiering right after. We're not going to have to wait till this summer like we originally thought. We're going straight into the next Last Resort single house. So I'm excited about that. Thank you so much for my co-host, Carl, for joining. Thank you all for being here and being a part of the conversation. You guys know how much I love talking to my besties about 90 Day Fiance. Make sure you're following Carl. I'm tagging her in this video. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. Oh, yeah, Pineapple, you're right. Josh is doing his live on Tuesday, the day after the tell-all, and he's answering everything from relationship status to anything that happened on the show that was not explained. He's telling
I hope somebody
everything.
records it because I'm going to be at work and I'm stressing so hard.
You're going to be working. Oh, I'm going to be watching. So, and you know what? Hopefully Reality TV Mess or Alexa will screen record it. So we'll have it.
Okay.
But if not, I'll look on TikTok and try to find it for you.
Okay.
Yes, Jal on Instagram. I think his Instagram is Josh 90 Day Fiance. Yes,
I want to
so
see
make
it
sure.
so bad.
I know, I'm excited because he's finally gonna say where he is, if he's married at all, if he's dating anyone, and anything that all of the questions that we've been asking that he can't answer, he's gonna tell us. All right, guys. So make sure you follow me at George Mossey, GeorgeMossey.com. Anywhere you get your podcast, type in the George Mossey Show. And yeah, that's Tuesday, but tomorrow is The Other Way, and we'll be back for that. Thank you guys, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Bye.